Okay, welcome everyone to our Tuesday, October 15th wallet development testing session. And welcome, Marvin. Hope you enjoyed the Chinese holiday last week. And we're looking forward to hearing all about your updates and how your work has been progressing. So you're welcome to start off if you'd like. Okay, Arvin is not there. Can you hear us, Arvin? You may have stepped away or might be having some difficulty. Okay, and the other person, valuable player, is Tomislav, and he's not with us. So, well, that is, and I don't have an agenda other than getting an update from Arvin on the front end, and maybe some comments from Tomislav. Does anyone else have any thoughts while we see what's happening with Arvin? Hello, Arvin? Can you hear us? I think I heard you a moment there. There we go. Okay, we see your screens being shared, but we just see a black screen right now. Okay, well, as Arvin's working on sharing his screen and getting set up for his update, does anyone have any thoughts on their mind regarding wallets or more generally dApp development? Let's see here. Hello, yeah, we hear a little bit of you trying to talk. Maybe Arvin, go ahead.
I suspect it may be distance problem. He has such a slow. I mean, our connection with him appears to be so lagged that his screen hasn't even completed sharing yet.
Yeah. Hey, Jim.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah. Arvin has joined us, but we think that, well, there's he's experiencing some technical difficulty. Gary seemed to think it might be due to the distance and the lag time.
I can say a couple of words on the testnet
Okay.
while we're waiting.
Yeah.
So as you may notice, testnet, a couple of testnet nodes went down during the weekend because we had actually not during the weekend, but on Thursday testing session when we deployed made a lot of deploys to one of the nodes, and it looks like there is not enough memory, and some nodes proceeds some blocks with the in corrupted state, so it hang.
Okay.
I rebooted a couple of nodes, node 3, node 6, during the weekend, and the node 6 successfully catched up. Node 3 did not. It exhausted its memory and failed. That's because I run a JVM heap dump on the node 6, and it looks like it helped a bit. So
okay.
node 3 don't have a bit of memory to finish. So now I called JVM heap dump on the node 3, and I hope soon it will be up to date and can start the network going forward. It's now on 9,055, around 9,000 blocks, 90,000.
Okay.
Hey, Tomislav, are all the servers configured the same way?
Oh, that's Nutzipper.
Sorry, that's not
Or not
super
separate,
close.
sorry. Are all the
What was it?
servers configured the same way?
Yes, it's just a restart of the node. So you can just restart the node and keep all the state, or you can clean the state and restart, reconnect to the node and leave it catching up.
Okay, no, but what I meant was all the nodes have the same memory and the same kind of
Yes.
footprint. Okay.
On Monday, there was a interesting Casper stand-up. I have to check to see if it was recorded. I have to see if the video is available. It's Greg giving the equational reasoning for the T-logic he's recently been talking about. So if you want to get an insight into the T-logic and how that's going to what it's going to do, the Casper stand-up from yesterday talks about that. Let's see here.
Arvin, can you hear us?
Okay.
Arvin, can you hear us yet?
I guess there's definitely something with the connection because now we have two of Arvin. Also, one thing the can report is that if you're running some tests with the client code calling by the Arnode CLI, it's better to move to My RChain because it looks like Arnode CLI has a high overhead. We just ported on SandboxNet the schedule of the client calls so deploy and propose to My RChain, and it consumes a lot less, much less resources.
Now I have to admit I'm not all familiar with My RChain. Could you give maybe a little explanation as far as what that is? And
it's basically a Python client.
oh, okay. That may have come up in the past, but I've never really connected with it. Okay, so it's okay. When I heard the word pi, I'm thinking like pi calculus. No, but pi is in Python. Okay, there's a lot of pi going around. So yes, okay. 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 Well, let's see. We'll I guess be patient for a little bit.
I guess.
Go ahead.
Erwin, can you just try your mic first? Because if your voice not passing by, so most probably video won't as well. If you can talk.
Yeah, here, let me put it into the chat to Arbin. Okay, Arbin, oh, okay, I can hear. Yeah, so Arbin, if you can hear us, as Nut Zipper said, just go ahead and. Oh, yeah, I see. And if you turn off, oh, okay, we see your screen now.
Yes.
We see your screen, but and we see your mouse cursor moving around. But correct, we don't hear you. The alternative is to type some comments into the chat window. It's certainly a lot more effort, but that's one way we can communicate. Or the other option is maybe you can just bring up the various screens that you have. Yeah, there's a lot of delay. Agreed. Yeah, earlier Gary seemed to have his computer mic muted. Okay, you don't. Okay, very good.
Yeah, in my case, I suppose I accidentally muted it because I'd never used the mute button before, and I had to actually look at the keyboard to see if I had one, and sure enough,
interesting.
it's right by the raise and lower volume, so I don't know why I didn't notice it.
And if you select next to the microphone, a different microphone device, you might have better luck.
And you know, I've always had more problems if I try to use Bluetooth headphones. I always select something wrong, so that if I use my headphones, I often lose my mic. So I just avoid headphones. Yeah, I think it's a matter of a very slow connection.
Right, Ivan. If you prefer, if you'd like to type your words, you're more than welcome to do that.
I just.
Arvin, we can hear you.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, let's just begin.
Nope. Very good. Great.
I just make the result part by this week. Here is just the flow. You click restore, and you can choose provide key or mnemonic phrase. Here, there you have two choice. If you choose provide key, you just enter your provide key here and continue. You will type your username. For example, Arvin, and then you click down. You will go into this page, and you just use this provide key to log in this part, and the next time you just use the username and the password to log in this page. And actually, I didn't make the real function by now. I just make the workflow. And if you use the mnemonic phrase, you just the same workflow. You just type in your and continue. It work the same way. And here this part, if you just make the have the account information in the local host, for example, I just have two comps to show this part, and if you have two account in the local host, like you just save the account in the local storage, save this information. You can just choose your account and type in the password, and then you can just log in. And this part I just made by now.
Oh, okay.
And,
wow.
And next week I will just make this part function be we can use it. For example, here is the password part, and you can click this to show it. But there's a register part. There didn't any validation about the password if you are the same, and I will make this function to be real.
Okay.
And after this part finished, I will make the login part, and because in the implement the real part is in you can just store the account and the password into this part, and you can just read the information from the local host, and then you just make compilation, and this page don't connect to any backend database. You just in this page is okay. So there is more security than connect to another backend or other database. And this is just my work by now. And if you have no account, for example, there is no account part, you will just look like this part.
Right.
You can just create your part, and
Mm-hmm.
you will get the
Okay.
phonemic phrase
Mm-hmm.
and check it. Oh, I just here I think there after this part, I will make a function that you can explore the account provide key one by one, not not show in this part.
Okay. So you said that you'll create the feature to export the private key one by one. Is that what you said?
In this part,
Okay.
for example, there is some setting or account part,
Mm-hmm.
account page, and it likes MetaMask. Yeah, this part.
Okay. So with MetaMask, that's an export feature of exporting private
Yeah,
keys.
and actually, your account is created by the mnemonic phrase
Mm-hmm.
when you need the MetaMask, and you can export provide key one by one. For
Okay.
example, you just export this count, or I just export this count.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So in the login or registry part, we will just show uh, the mnemonic phrase, and when you have um, when you have accounts, you can just restore it by provide key or
Mm-hmm.
mnemonic phrase.
Right.
This two choice, you can use both, like use what you like, and this is a step I just made this week.
Okay.
The most about the restore your account.
Mm-hmm. That's a nice feature, that drop down feature to get your private keys on your local host. I like that. That was a nice addition. And yes, you're making great progress. It's taking shape. It's looking good. So we appreciate your effort, Arvin, on creating the wallet user interface. And
Yeah,
so next,
thanks.
yes, you're very welcome. Thank you. So,
Mm.
so next week, do you think you would have that feature of exporting the private keys to demonstrate, or do you need more time for that?
I need some time to finish this whole part about login and the restore.
Okay.
You can say just I just tried the account. It's a hard code part. It's just a demo part, and actually the real part is like const count localhost 点 get item count, or like this part, and I will finish the um, most important part in this login and restore page. That's two page I should just finish the work, like
Okay.
I just make some to do part. For example, they finish the real function, and
Mm-hmm.
it just router director by now. And I need to finish for example, store the account and crypt the password to the local host. And if you sign up the uh, looks verified your phenomenon key phenomenon phrase. Here, I think there's about 1 or 2 weeks to finish the whole part about login and the restore, and then I will just make the part the function in this part, like export the provide key and about the transfer part. Yeah.
Okay, great. Very good. Thank you, Arvin. We appreciate you showing us all the work that you've been doing. So, Ned, so how do you feel about the progress and how the wallet is coming along?
No, it looks great. I really like the design and the functionality is coming along. So that's great.
Okay, good. And as far as the update with cost accounting, that's still being worked on. There'll be some additional core dev developers working on cost accounting. So we don't have a estimated date or time as far as when that will be completed, but that is the main focus of the core development team now. So
Yeah, we're supposed to get that estimate tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay. Okay, good. And Tomislav is working with the core development team now, so he will be learning Scala to do some Scala coding, and he may be involved as well in completing the cost accounting. So with whether he'll be able to attend these wallet meetings in the future, you know, we'll see, but he's a busy person these days working for RChain. Good. Does anyone else have any thoughts or questions?
Yeah, Arvin, when are you think you're going to start hooking this up?
Please pardon. I just can't listen carefully.
Oh, you can't. Okay, all right. Never mind then. Did somebody hear when Arvin said he's actually going to be able to start sending tokens through the wallet?
Oh, you just say the Rev sending and receive receive function.
Yes.
I think they need about 2 or 3 weeks later, after I finish the basic account creation and restore, and then I just make the send and receive part. And in this part, I think I need like I maybe need some npm dependency, like the end design or Umi or React like part. I can just work with some easy API to make these parts functionable.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Now, will Arvin need to work with Tomislav or someone in order to get that piece of it connected as far as the Rev transfer?
Yeah, maybe someone can write a document for me about I can use some feature about API I can just use to connect the test network, or after that the main network.
Arvin, are you aware of the Python library? You can just echo what is there in JavaScript.
It means that it's a Python file.
Yeah, I've put into the Zoom chat. It's not a file, it's a library, but the logic of what should be done to send ref is in there. And I don't know if there is a thing in the Tomislav's library.
I mean, can I just use this Python file in the JavaScript project?
No.
Yeah, I think they need some JavaScript dependency like gRPC or like RChain, some JavaScript SDK, so I can just use that SDK to make the function.
Okay, so you're not in a position to translate this into JavaScript. You don't have strengths at this, correct? Because if you want some documentation, this is like what should be done is the most valid one. How to send refs.
If we just if we, for example, I just use this part for My RChain, I need to build a backend to serve the real function about the receive or send part.
Actually,
No.
no. Are you aware of? Let me send you a link. Let me. There.
Is this two parts the JavaScript API?
Yes, this is the JavaScript API. Oh no, sorry. No. This is an outdated one, and not outdated, but not maintained. You better to use this one built by Tomislav, and it has all the heavy lifting with the token with regarding to talking to our node, serializing, deserializing request responses, so you can easily make a deploys at least with it.
If I just need to send or receive ref, I should deploy a smart contract first.
Yes, you should deploy a smart contract. You should deploy a piece of raw line code, and when it is proposed, you should call a listen for data at name to check.
It means everyone just when he was using the for example this wallet, he should deploy a contract first.
No, you should in your wallet make.
I just deploy a functional contract for this wallet, and everybody else can just use this contract to receive or send.
There is a standard contract, but it's a kind of a template, because you're substituting into this template sender address, recipient address, and that's it. And you have to sign this deploy with your private key. So the signature is the most crucial part, which should be developed inside the wallet. You should take this payload and sign it, and then deploy to the node this payload along with the signature. So how to make a deploy? This is all done in these libraries. I guess that in Tomislav JavaScript libraries, it's already done. So you can see Arnold deploy, Arnold propose. Well, propose doesn't work because you can't propose on the testnet nodes. But you can make a deploys and then...
So
yeah.
it means I just need to explore this dependency.
Yes. You
Right.
should
And
use it.
This
there's
library contains every stuff that I just need to make the receive and send ref function.
I think except signing.
Okay.
Might be, well, I think there is a signing inside, but you have to put your private key into the UI to sign, which is not very good, but you can try this first. So
Okay. I will
Because you're going to have
make
store the private key in the browser. I mean, it's going to be encrypted when it's stored. That I thought we were going to have. I thought someone else was going to. That Arvin was only working on the front end, and that NetZipper, you or someone else would add the back end functionality to it. Isn't that the case?
sure, we can try.
Okay, so you just need the GitHub address for this, and you can.
I thought that this is not published yet. Arvin, have you your repo published somewhere?
Yeah, I just open source it in my account here.
Cool. Could you please post it in the Discord, and I guess we will manage some pull requests.
What's your mean?
We will open pull requests with some functionality into your repo.
Open what?
Pull requests. We can write some
Pull request. Yeah,
yeah,
you can just
we
I
do
will
some
create
stuff.
maybe I can create some part, for example, the transfer part and provide key part or other parts. And if you want, you can contribute to some function. You can
Yes.
just clone it and make this pull request.
And then basically, there's only two contracts. I mean, only two deploys that need to be done. One is to check the balance on an account, and the other is to transfer rev, right? Those are the two contracts that need to be called.
Maybe you can just write a document about the feature we want to achieve, or I just can open an issue in this part, and we can discuss about the feature we want to achieve.
Yeah, that sounds good.
That we can make a roadmap about the My RChain Wallet.
Sure. Let's talk in GitHub.
I can just send the address. And actually, I just deploy it to the GitHub page, judge page in the My RChain Wallet.com.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I didn't notice it.
Here is or part. And do you know, I have some experience about the React and the Redux, the library framework I'm using to develop this My RChain Wallet.
I'm not really into front end, so
Okay.
I have no experience with this.
Okay, so maybe there is some method we can work with each other. For example, I just make some function that I think, for example, export async. Const transfer. And I will use this function to assign the function to the for example, receive button, and after he click it, this function will just make sense. And if you can implement this function, you can just add your code or some other stuff, and you can just test it in, for example, in plan.js file. And if this work, I can just use this function to assign this function to this button. And so after in this way, you maybe don't care about how I make the user interface. You can just
Sure.
make
Let's try.
the function.
Let's try to start working. I think we will manage this.
And I can just add some to-do parts, like make.
If you're trying to show us something, we still see your my RChain wallet. I think you have two screens, or
and if you are interested in the how I just make this part, it's more React React project, like they get you some props or states to make the page render.
I think I'll have to dig into code and see what's inside.
So if you are interested in this part, you can just make some pull requests if you want to contribute to the part about wallet. The
Yeah,
repo
sure.
is here. I use just TypeScript most and some JavaScript. It's most TypeScript is most JavaScript. Here is not much difference between JavaScript and TypeScript. TypeScript and have some type like Java, or that have strong type.
I wonder, Arvin, could you tell us what's you experienced more? Are you a designer or a front-end developer? So we can manage a team.
I just learn design in college. and I just learn the front end by myself because I'm interested in develop to make my design uh, realistic. So
I see.
I'm both a designer and front end developer.
Cool. Okay. I see.
Right. So as a group, whatever assistance we can provide Arvin on connecting his front end work to the back end, that's where he needs help. And so hopefully we'll have NetZipper with your skills. I'm sure you'll be able to assist in that way. So yes, so Arvin is primarily front end development. And good. And if, go ahead.
If we have nothing on agenda, I guess I will drop off.
Okay, I just wanted to say one other thing. Arvin talked about creating a document, perhaps sort of a roadmap document. If anyone works on that, Arvin or with you, NetZipper, perhaps that document could reside in this GitHub repository, and then create post a link into the Discord channel. So if that's something that the two of you get to at some
Sure.
point. Okay, great.
Well, hey, Steve, I also want to mention, Kenny Rowe has been contracted by the co-op to work on something like that, a document.
Okay.
So I'm not sure where he is, but we should reach out to him and see what's going on with that.
Okay, so perhaps we'll reach out to him and maybe we can have him join us for this session next week so he can get up to date as far as where we're at with this effort.
Yeah, that'd be good if you could.
Okay, great. Thank you, NetZipper. We appreciate your help if you need to drop off. We'll probably,
Okay, thank you.
yep,
Thanks,
have a
guys.
great.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so I think we're certainly making progress. It sounds like we've got a plan, and I think if we have this roadmap document, that would certainly, I'd get a better feeling of what these pieces are that need to be completed, and with a sense of a time frame. So with Kenny Rowe's help, that might be able, that would be a good addition. Good. Does anyone else have any additional thoughts or questions or comments? Good. Well, we've got another 9 minutes. I'm just curious with Jim and Gary, were the two of you able to meet yesterday for blockchain art?
Yes, we met yesterday and had a good meeting. Eric and our friend from Keybase, and I'm drawing a blank on her name. She was there from Keybase and Dig Life, who's a member of the Art on the Blockchain project.
Yeah,
And
Stacy.
we had a good long discussion about open money and Michael Linton's views on it compared to mine.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, then Jim and I got into the Windows subsystem for Linux, which is where we're using our running our Keybase bots now. And Jim knows a lot more about that than I do, but I was very happy to learn all that I learned in our session yesterday. And if you ever, well, you may get involved with this on the Keybase project, because we found a real nifty way to run these little bash scripts which end up being bot services for our bots on Keybase, and anybody can write them and anybody can install them and run them, you know, with very little training. And I can probably knock them out in less than 20 minutes now for every new listener that I set up. And the hardest part about it is actually coming up with you know, the dialogue for both ends of the transaction. And but anyway, that was exciting. You know, really good session yesterday.
Good. And
for Windows users, the WSL Windows system for Linux or whatever is, you know, turns out to be really awesome.
okay.
It gives you a real Ubuntu system that's running not as a virtual machine, but it's actually running on your Windows machine natively.
It's using the Windows calls, and the amazing part is it's still able to isolate itself from. I mean, it's magical. It really, it's just really amazing.
Yeah. Well, you know, it turns out that Windows has a POSIX system interface in its roots. And
It's always been there.
It's always been there. You know, back in the early 90s, I can't remember what they called it then. It came out to be Windows 95 because the Department of Defense required POSIX compatibility of any machines bought by the Department of Defense. So Windows 95 came out with a Unix part.
Okay.
Even though you didn't have,
Mm-hmm.
you know, at NGIT, we compiled the whole Unix, everything on a PC.
Mm-hmm.
We were given a pre-release of Windows 95 to play with because, you know, we were a Microsoft partner. But and we had a whole Linux running, and then somehow when it came out, we no longer had the ability to do it.
Interesting.
But,
good.
But if you have a Mac, okay, I guess you know there's going to be a little bit different procedure. You can run your user agents and robots and things on your Mac as services. But for the people with Windows, the WSL or Windows Service for Linux, Ubuntu, turns out to be awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, and when we start getting lots of people in here, I'm thinking most of our users are going to be Windows users.
Yeah. Or, you know, they think they need it. Maybe need a Unix machine on the cloud or whatever. Well, they don't. Okay, they can run it right on their Windows box.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Without running a virtual machine.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll be able to join you guys at the regular blockchain art time next week. So this investor relations working group that I'm a part of, we've moved to a different time. So so you're sorry to cause any confusion as far as, you know, scheduling and time, but you're you plan on meeting at the usual 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on Monday next week? Is that the plan?
Yes.
Okay.
That's
12 Central
we
for
were
you.
we were gonna keep that session open, whether we called it the Art on the Blockchain meeting or we called it a working group for Art on the Blockchain.
Okay.
But so yeah, so nothing changes, and we, as far as that calendar entry goes, nothing changes.
Okay, good. And yeah, if you guys have a video from yesterday, I'll look forward to reviewing that. And I posted the video from blockchain our blockchain session last week, the 7th, October 7th, onto DiviDAO. So that's
that was a good one, but I'll have to say that so much has been done since then that we're all, it's almost like, don't even bother. I mean, it's probably good to be there for something, but
yeah.
Things are moving along rather swimmingly.
Yeah, that's encouraging. That's the nature of software. Things can happen quite rapidly when things do get moving. Good. Does anyone else have any final thoughts or questions? All right. Well, thank you, everyone. So we'll meet back here. Go ahead. Sounded like someone was about to say something. So we'll meet back here at our regular time next week. All right.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye.